9.
The Radio Wammo Breakfast
Suckling on the teat of tech.
with Paul Brislen.
It's been a high-tech week and so much to talk about. G'day there, Paul.
Good morning, how are you?
Very well. Twitter.com/Paul Brislen. First of all, the surprise shock news it happened overnight, not last night, the night before, with the fight between Gillard and Rudd the power struggle. Gillard, obviously, as we know now, is now the new Prime Minister of Australia.
Yeah, never messed with a red-haired Welsh woman.
That's right, but it exploded online, didn't it?
It did. It absolutely went off on the internet because, of course, that is where we turn for breaking news these days. So, some stats out of the Australian market: Sydney Morning Herald and the Melbourne Age both recorded their highest traffic spikes ever.
Wow!
So this is the biggest story they've ever had. I think the Sydney Morning Herald's website got over 1 million page impressions per hour. Per hour for 2 hours between 9 and 11 yesterday morning, while everybody was logging on to see just what was going on.
And of course, that would have not only just been Australians, but I guess the world would have been going to Australia for the latest news.
That's exactly right. Yeah. Yes, yeah. And a lot of the Australian press, the rural press, and some others are served out of New Zealand off the back of APN, which runs the Herald here. A lot of the stuff is managed and operated out of New Zealand, out of the Auckland office.
How about that?
So it's all quite good. It's good to see. And if you want a great example of being able to track breaking news as it happens, Trendsmap is real-time Twitter updates. And it was fascinating to watch yesterday as some of the big news coming out of Australia started to bubble up and spill over, and really you could see it happening here in New Zealand. This morning it's a bit quieter. The big items today over there are Julia and Gillard and oddly NZL, which is of course a reference to the All Whites.
Yes.
And of course in New Zealand it's just all about the All Whites. There's a little bit about Bill Bailey coming to visit, but we've got undefeated, Paraguay, unbeaten, All Whites, New Zealand, Fallon. It's all here. It's lovely to see.
Oh, All Whites is huge over New Zealand at the moment.
It is.
The hashtag.
Yeah. The hashtag, and for those who aren't on Twitter, get on Twitter. But a hashtag is you put a little hash in front of the word that you want to make it easier to search for.
Get on Twitter. Go on.
Go on, give it a whirl. It won't bite. Well, it might. But it'll be fun.
And Greer McDonald from stuff.co.nz is actually trending as well.
A trending topic. She's just said she's putting out some blog posts this afternoon, and so, yes, she's trending in Wellington, so we won't hold that against her.
And, gosh, this is really fascinating, because Bill Bailey's in New Zealand at the moment, and he's trending.
He is, and Bill's on Twitter. He's the real Bill Bailey on Twitter. A very funny guy to see in concert, but just as funny on Twitter, I have to say. Fantastic person to follow. And, you can see his name's there. It's so the way the Trendsmap works, it's a bit like those clouds you see on some websites, word clouds. That is, the larger and brighter the word, the more people are talking about it. So you can visually see quite quickly what is important in particular parts of the world. In Papua New Guinea, for example, there's only one trending word.
Yes.
Which is, what's that, Japo? I can't see it. It's so small. It's refusing to, let me see.
Japeo.
Yeah.
Yeah. And no one is tweeting in the middle of Australia. It's this big desert.
There's a big desert.
Yeah.
There is a very big desert. But in Indonesia, we've got Italy, Brazil, Portugal. Best film quotes seems quite important. It's really quite a fascinating map to just scroll around and see what people are talking about.
Oh, man, look at hardly anyone's tweeting in Africa. No one's tweeting in Libya.
There's a big gap. Yep.
Yeah.
There is that huge gap.
Yeah. Interesting stuff.
Spend hours on there. Well worthwhile.
Absolutely. That is trendsmap.com. Right now, for many years now, BitTorrent and torrents as a way of downloading files has been getting a bad rap, hasn't it?
It has. We're those who engage in such things are leeches. Leeches, I tell you, stealing the creative energies of particularly North America as we weasel television and watch it at our will.
But now, Paul, there is something legal going on.
Well, there is, because let's face it, this whole mechanism is simply a way of getting television and any kind of video or audio or any kind of file, in fact, out to people who want to access it. So somebody's actually created a television show which is only available by downloading it over BitTorrent. It's called Pioneer One. It's a science fiction TV show, and I think it cost about $6,000 to make the pilot episode. So they put it out there, download it for free, watch it. If you like it, you want to see more, donate some money to them, and they might get to make some more of it.
I've downloaded it. I've watched the first 5 minutes. I've got to say the acting is a little bit off. But
well, $6,000 doesn't buy you Laurence Olivier, does it? It's probably. But what do you reckon?
It's not quite HBO.
No,
but I will give it. I'll watch it this weekend. I'll give it a good go, and maybe I'll report back next week. But
exactly,
it is worth finding out whether or not this model actually works.
And it clearly does, because the record companies and the TV producers and movie companies are screaming about BitTorrent and about people posting their content online without permission. Well, really, you've kind of got to embrace the model rather than trying to break it, I think. And this kind of production, I just think what would have happened if Joss Whedon at the end of Firefly had said, well, let's just put the next series online. We'll raise some money, make the pilot, we'll see if there's interest, and off we go.
Yeah.
The audiences for such things around the world are quite huge, and the Americans tend to forget that it's the World Wide Web. And if all you're doing is charging $1 per episode, Top Gear was the most downloaded TV show, most stolen TV show for a long time. 300, 400 million viewers a week watching it online.
Yeah.
If you were to charge $1, I'd happily pay $1.
Absolutely. For a high quality, fast download, definitely.
That's right.
Yeah.
And if I'm willing to, and I mean $1, you don't even think about it. Apple's really done very well cornering this market with the iTunes capability just on the iPhone. So you're sitting there and you hear a song and you listen to it and then you buy it, and then it's as easy as that. Get out of the way and get out of stopping your customers giving you money. Try and help them do it. I think that'll work quite well.
Like Viacom has been trying for years.
Dear old Viacom.
Yeah.
Oh, you've got to love them. Well, no, actually you don't. Silly buggers, they have been suing Google and YouTube for $1 billion, $1 billion, because naughty people have been using YouTube to look at their video clips.
Viacom's run by Dr. Evil, isn't it?
Well, I think perhaps that's true, or Ronald McDonald, one or the other. But certainly a clown of some kind, because what they don't seem to have realised is that for many years, Viacom was actually uploading videos to YouTube themselves so that people could to use it as a kind of advertising platform. So that people go, oh, that looks really cool. Let's go and watch the program. So they're trying to have it both ways. Fortunately, the judge was not taken in by any of this. The evidence was clear that they had been doing it themselves, and that it was all part of some kind of tactical manoeuvring on their part. So the case has been thrown out. YouTube and Google will not be crushed under the weight of the US legal system just yet, and people can go on about their lives.
Often you think none of this stuff will ever affect me, but it has. It has affected me in this show. There's been a couple of film reviews and I think a game review that was uploaded from this show to YouTube. In fair use, using some footage from a trailer, and obviously me and John or Gerard talking about what we were talking about. But Viacom had an automatic block on it, saying no, that's our content.
No.
What?
No. And even though it's an acceptable use thing, and you're covered by US law in particular when it comes to these things, that you are allowed to, for review purposes, use their intellectual property, they seem to think, no, they are bigger than the law. And so stomp all over the place, throw their weight around. Thankfully, it's been thrown back in their face now, and hopefully we'll see an end to that kind of nonsense.
Yeah.
In effect, you were promoting their product.
Exactly.
So what's the problem?
Down with Viacom. Thanks, Paul.
Anytime.
Paul Brislen on Twitter as well. Here's a track from So Modern. This is called Be